All right, welcome back to Vuln Vibes, everybody. Glad to have you with us again. Today, we are going straight into a critical security update. And, you've probably seen the headlines already, but this one's hitting Synology camera firmware. We are going to forget just the basic advisory, though. We're going to unpack what CVE 2024-11131 really tells us about significant trends and, honestly, where we are with IoT security overall these days.
Yeah, definitely. This deep dive is going to zero in on this specific vulnerability they found, which is hitting certain Synology camera models. So we really want to get past just the surface and analyze what the implications are going to be for your security posture and really highlight what we can all learn from this.
So we've got a CVSS 3 base score of 9.8 here, and I mean, that's pretty much as serious as it gets, right? I think for all of our security pros out there listening in, a score like that, what kind of alarms should that be setting off in your head right away?
Well, 9.8, that means we're talking about a vulnerability that can be exploited remotely, and the potential impact here is huge. I mean, think total compromise without the user even needing to do anything. And what we're dealing with specifically, it's an out-of-bounds read issue that's happening in the video interface. At first glance, that might not sound like much, but it really creates a very dangerous opening for attackers.
Out of bounds read, so not direct code execution, but kind of a stepping stone. How would an attacker take advantage of this and actually, take control?
The key here is information leakage. So with an out-of-bounds read, you can actually expose things like memory addresses and other sensitive data. And then attackers can take that info and use it to bypass security measures, build exploits that then actually can lead to executing arbitrary code or injecting commands. It's all about getting that initial foothold and then figuring out the lay of the land, so to speak.
So basically, it's like recon. That then could turn into a full-on remote takeover. I mean, for anyone out there managing these types of devices, what should be top of mind right now thinking about this vulnerability?
Well, yeah, I mean, first and foremost, you got to be worried about device compromise. That's obvious. But, beyond that, think about the potential for lateral movement across your whole network, especially if these cameras can access other segments. That's a real risk. And then even indirectly, you've got data exfiltration to think about. And, in industrial control systems especially, the implications could be really serious for physical security.
So we know this vulnerability. It was flagged by PWN20WN 2024. They've got it listed under ZDI CAN 25538. Now, what does it tell us that something like PWN20WN picked this up? Was this just an easy find?
Well, PWN20WN, they've got some of the best security researchers in the world. The fact they found it, that means this wasn't just some simple mistake. I mean, it probably took some real skill, some real digging to uncover it, which, I think really highlights how much more sophisticated attacks on embedded systems are becoming.
And we have to be thankful it was responsibly disclosed, right? I mean, that buys us all some much needed time.
Oh, absolutely. Responsible disclosure is so important. It gives the vendors a chance to get patches developed and out there before the vulnerability is, being actively exploited by the bad guys. So it really shrinks that window of opportunity for attackers.
Okay, so let's get down to the specifics here. What Synology camera models are we talking about? Which ones are definitely affected by CVE 2024-11131?
We're looking at the BC500, the CC400W, and the TC500. If you've got any of these in your inventory, you need to act fast. And the fix? It's a firmware update. Which version should everybody be making sure they've got? You need to upgrade to firmware version 1.2.0000525, or anything later than that. Honestly, treat this like a critical update. Bump it to the top of your priority list.
All right, so for all of you leading security teams out there, what are the processes that an advisory like this, this critical, what should it trigger automatically for your teams?
Immediately, you need to be checking your asset inventory. Then prioritize your patching schedule specifically for those affected models. And, this is also a really good time to kind of step back and reevaluate your whole IoT security strategy, especially how you manage vendor risk. Think of it like a stress test for your whole incident response plan.
So, taking a broader view now, what are the big trends in IoT security that you think this particular vulnerability really highlights? I mean, are we just seeing more of these deeper firmware issues?
What's really worrying is how much we're still seeing these memory safety issues in embedded devices. I mean, even with all the advances we've made in secure development, these very basic flaws are still popping up. I think it shows how complex it is to secure these ecosystems with so much different hardware and software. And we're definitely seeing more attackers targeting these endpoints, the ones that seem less protected, as a way to get into the wider network.
So the message here isn't just patch your cameras, it's something bigger, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is really showing us that IoT devices, They aren't just some side concern anymore when it comes to security. They're right in the middle of your attack surface. So yeah, timely patching is crucial, but you need a much wider strategy. That means proactively managing vulnerabilities and honestly, a zero-trust approach for every single device that's connected. And that brings up a really important question for everyone listening. How are you really accounting for the security of every connected device in your environment? That's the real takeaway here.
This vulnerability with the Synology cameras, I mean, it's a serious wake up call. We've got to be constantly vigilant if we want to keep our connected world secure. The severity is high, the potential for remote compromise is real. Those are the risks. And yeah, there's a patch out there, but it's more than just updating. It's a call to all of us to take a good hard look at our whole IoT security posture. What blind spots do you have? I mean, a digital world is only getting bigger, and we have to be ready.